Are you aware of the policies that exist between the countries in terms of films? What are the regulations or restrictions?
No, I'm not. When I say if I say I'm aware, I can't explain in detail. But I know that it's not possible to show our films commercially in Bangladesh and for Bangladeshi films to be shown commercially here. I know that a whole lot of people in Bangladesh have seen my films in a pirated version. I know that. They've told me. But why this has not been formalized for reasons unknown to me.
These are regional enigmas that we live with and unexplained. When we talk about, we're trying to form this collaborative channel. And
that's wonderful, actually. I think it's a great idea.
And would you, I always end up asking this grand South Asian question. I said, do you see yourself ever directing a film where there'll be actors from all these countries and you'd be doing a joint production?
I'd love that, but what would be the language?
English, that's what I was coming to.
Yeah, it could be, it's possible, extremely possible. If one had a story in mind where one could work all this in, then why not? Indeed, why not?
Could you possibly think of a plot? Would you start thinking about a plot?
I can't think about a plot starting from this kind of a point. Usually when a plot comes to me, it comes to me because I've been moved by something. I can't use a utilitarian reason to make a plot.
But aren't there enough plots in all our lands where it would move
you
there
would be.
To link?
For instance, the Ramayana, I think, is interesting because the Ramayana belongs to the whole of Southeast Asia, in fact.
True. Any other plot that you could think of? Love, for instance.
Huh?
Nationalism, for instance.
Nationalism is something that does not inspire me.
Okay, then what inspires you?
Human relationships.
Why do you have this thing against nationalism?
I don't know. There is something about nationalism that I don't like. It's not that I'm against nationalism. Yes, to start with, I think all the borders are, as Amitabh Ghosh says, shadow lines.
Oh yes, that's a beautiful
novel. I absolutely believe that they're shadow lines. And nationalism can sometimes, lead to great brutality and human rights violations. I don't care for nationalism per se, which is not to say that I don't love India, I do. But I don't like the concept of nationalism too much. I would prefer something more global.
More global.
Yeah.
So when you are against or when you don't favor the concept of penciled borders, that means you also would not favor a penciled region. Because we're trying to focus in on South Asia, which also has sort of a map of its own.
When you say South Asia, you're concentrating on South Asia. This does not mean that you exclude the rest of the world, surely.
Of course,
well, then that's fine. That's fine then.
Okay. So as per you, nationalism does restrict.
Nationalism is restrictive. It's restrictive.
It's restrictive.
Yes.
Well.
And it can lead to, look at what happened to communism in Russia because of nationalism under Stalin.
True.
Well, I think the defense rests.
I'm very tempted to, because I'm very close to the book, Shadow Lines.
Yes.
And do you remember the part where basically Trideep and the girl stands in front of the Victoria Memorial Monument and the girl is ashamed because of what they have done to us, to the, those
so
who
the
have
girl is
been...
not being nationalistic in that.
The girl's not being nationalistic. But then again, when we talk about this and we talk about the colonization and that we are decolonized now, do you think India is truly giving it back to the world now by buying Jaguar and Ford? Do you think South Asia is ever going to grow?
I think that India has a huge GRP now, and there are people with a lot of money, and it's a business thing, it's a commerce thing, it's not a vendetta thing.
It's natural, it's beneficial.
Because of globalization. Markets are free, markets are open. And of course, this kind of exchange is going to take place, but I don't think it's with a desire to give it back to anybody. I don't think that comes into it at all. For instance, giving it back to somebody, if it entailed a commercial loss, I don't think anybody would do it.
Oh, certainly, of course.
So it's a commerce thing. It's a question of business.
now that we've sort of done a whole walk of the Prinsep Ghat, do you consider yourself a true South Asian woman?
Oh, absolutely, I do. An Indian, a South Asian, and a global person, I would think.
Okay. And
Not simply South Asian.
all right.
Just as I'm not simply Indian.
Great. You did tell us that there was no shoulds in your daughter's lives. But even then, what would be your perfect lines for the South Asian women out there watching this program in 5 countries altogether? What would you tell all of us?
I wouldn't presume to advise anyone, but I think it would be great if women could pursue their dreams.
Just pursue their dreams
Yeah,
with conviction and with faith.
obviously. Very difficult to pursue your dreams without conviction.
True. All right, so that would be it. Thank you very, very much for your time. It was lovely talking to you,
Thank you
lovely
very much.
meeting you. Okay, thanks. So we just spoke to Aparna Sen, and she shared a bit of her life and passion and her conviction. So we definitely benefited a lot, and we would look forward to having her back again in our shows. And thank you, South Asians, for being with us this evening, and see you next week, same time and same channel.